Hi everybody, come on in. If you stick around till about 2:30, there'll be chocolate and espresso. But we're too early for that, and we were so busy we didn't get to see you for our Thanksgiving here in Canada. So this is a kind of belated Thanksgiving show, and we're going to give you a tour and discuss a few things about questions different people have asked, and you'll see what we've been doing. And wow, you know, I was looking back and I couldn't believe it. I have not had a new orchid in this house since Mother's Day. That's too long. All the stores here, there isn't anything that looks any good, and I'm hoping maybe we can. Vernon is about an hour's drive, so maybe one day before too long there might be some chance of finding something over there. But I've been so busy, and now I see lots of spikes coming, and that makes it all worthwhile. So I guess I better get with it and take you on a little tour. And here on the table, these were the last of the flowers outside. It's been turning so cold, and I thought, well, I'm just going to make a little decoration because I didn't have enough flowers for a big decoration. But it's just a little vintage cup and saucer, and inside is a very tiny one of these, and these are so handy, and they're heavy. Even the small one is quite heavy, so they fit quite firmly there, and it's a nice little whoops, sorry Maggie, it's a nice little centerpiece for the table if you just have a few people in for coffee. So let me take you for a little tour, and I'll try to answer a few questions as I go. Okay, here we go. Well, seeing we're on this side of the house, oh, we had the big job of covering the greenhouse. You can see it back there. It's covered, can you believe, for 6 months of the year. It's just too long, but yeah. Anyway, it's quite a struggle. 3 layers of plastic, 2 thin plastic inside a bubble wrap. So, yeah, someday for anybody that wants a greenhouse tour of how this is all put together to keep our lemon tree and orange tree happy, you'll see. If you ask, I'll show you. So then we'll go over here, and out in the back, what can we see? Far out behind the gazebo, we can see Jimmy sitting back there. Yeah, he's strong. He's there for the winter, and you know, he's going to be pretty good. So, okay, that's it for those things. We picked all our grapes, pruned them down, and I spent a whole day making organic grape juice. So we have been busy. This cactus, well, not too many blooms on this one, not for Thanksgiving anyway. So here we go over here, and of course this is the light we made, as I often show you, but by one little hole in the back and LED strip lighting, and then through the hole, just like we did on our bowls, our Mr. bowls, in the hole in the back goes the cord. So yes, and the lucky plant is still doing good, so that's a good thing. Okay, let's get, oh, maybe before we do the orchids we should pop over here. Now, the nursing station, I didn't really have much to put here, but I did want to share a few things with you, because if you've got a bowl like this, or any Mr. bowl, I'll take the little orchid off. This one I'm giving a little special attention to. And a top plate. This plate can be flat, any size. I could sit it this way, and it still holds a plant. And you want it so that you have to make sure that your Mr. Fogger is sitting down near the bottom. If you this is an old tea light, and see if I can show you here. Yeah, this is an old tea light, and it has to be a flat one, but it also has to be low enough so that when you put your plate on, it can still do its job, because if the tea light is sitting too high, raised inside there, I'll show you what I mean, then it's too close for the plate that's going to hold your orchid. So I just put this one upside down, and the mist still rises, and it's still good for the orchid. And this one here, I just thought I'd put in the special location. Okay, now this is another tea light that you could use something like this, but this is what I mean about sitting too high. You can see it's raised above where it would sit in your bowl. And I have unsealed those before and moved them lower so that it sits lower. And instead of a tea light, of course, you put your little Mr. Fogger. So that's that. Now, whoops, sorry if I turned too fast here. So if you remember, I took all the grapevines that were here, and they were quite broken. I took them all off, and I actually like the look of it better. And now the aerial roots can cling. It seems to make them happy because it's happy. And here's, see all these twists on these ones? This is where it was growing through the wrapped grapevine that was around this, and it was in quite bad shape. So I stuck this out in the window to give it lots of light. I'm hoping for a flower spike to come on this one soon. And here, right in beside the dead leaf, I never take those leaves off until right in there. Oh, it's hiding. See if I can get it. Yep, there's a little spike coming in there. And I never take these leaves off until they fall off, and it just did. Because the nourishment that's all in that leaf will still go back to the plant. So there, and we also have a spike here. So are they happy in the sewer pot? You bet they are, because there's another spike right in here. So that sewer pot is doing well. And it's over the Mr. Fogger, just like the other one, but I like the bowls because they're deeper. They hold more water. You're not always filling it so often. And then I put in, this is an old ashtray upside down with the sewer pot on. So they've been happy in that. They're all in spike. They're in bark, getting watered once a week. Sometimes I'll miss them heavily in the middle of the week. Well, I miss them every morning lightly, but in the middle of the week I might heavier miss them. And of course, Horella retricula, she's still got 2 blooms, and I see another one coming back in there. So she's happy, and a new leaf coming here. So we have high hopes, high hopes. Now, Moonglow, remember Moonglow is one of my oldest orchids, and she had the kike. The kike, I'm sorry, did not survive. Next time, I will not take my kike off till the stem tells me to by starting to die off. But she is happy. She has a spike coming. Now, we had flowers in July from Moonglow. So she's happy. They're very shiny, very firm. She looks better since she had her kike off, I must say that. So, what else is in spike? Well, there's a few more. Oh, I know something I wanted to show you here. Now this is the orchid that it was very, very sad, very sick. It right away lost all its leaves but these two. And I thought, oh my goodness, it's going to die. But you know what? I just left it in the bark alone. And you can tell, you know, quite often when they're struggling, they'll send out. So the first leaf that came after it was left with just two was a small leaf, shorter than the others. And that's a sign they're struggling when they're not getting to full size. But then it's now established in the pot, came the two leaves, and it just finished making this beautiful leaf. So, and also with these leaves, when they're so big, they come out, they're quite flimsy. And you may even want to just prop them up if they're real flimsy, but they slowly firm up and find their place, or just grow so fast sometimes. And here we have, this was a lamp. The base is where the plant is. We cut it off and the light came out the bottom. And this has been very happy in here. And we have a spike coming. It's going to be beautiful. So that's what's happening in this window. The hanging ones, I don't see any spikes yet, but they are very healthy. So once bark is established, it's very, very good. So now we're just going to back up and go into the other room. Okay, now if you remember, this is my oldest orchid, and I put it in this pot because it was long, and I didn't have to cut the root. One day I will, but I didn't want to do it. But you know, it was not long ago I did this, just a few videos back. It's growing a new leaf. See, it was going from bark to bark, so it's no longer suffering from a media change. They don't like to be repotted, but it's not as bad as changing the media. So the media stayed the same, and it's actually shooting a new leaf and getting a spike at the same time. So, yeah, I think it's going to be okay. And here we have Purple Haze, and she has a little spike. Actually, it's right in between the leaves there. And normally, my orchids aren't spiking this early, but I think it had something to do with the, month of darkness from all the smoke we had. I think it was actually 3 weeks, but this is a fountain we got at the Salvation Army store one time when we were in Vernon, and it was all broken, and I added a few things, a couple rocks I found here and there, and my air plant. So, there. So, when we bought our little fish here, and I love the mist this fish creates. In fact, I had to take the little, it's just, there's no hole, I didn't put a hole in it. It's just the Mr. Fogger put inside. And I had to actually slant it facing to the back because it was creating too much mist this way. So I put it to the back so that it's kind of spraying to the back of the fish. And it creates a really nice mist. Now I put them in a bowl because actually some mist when it was the other way was coming off. So this solved that problem. And I'm sure the slipper orchid here is Aphiopedilum. It's trying, it's still coming. Now Ed said it takes time and I'm waiting, Ed. So yeah, it still looks good. So that's that one. And then over here I have my other one. Nothing happening there yet. And in the back here, this is the little orchid that I repotted at the garden show video. That was back in May. And it has a spike coming in there. Now you can see there's some wrinkly leaves on the bottom. It didn't lose its leaves, but they did get soft. So that was in May. It's used to the bark now. It's growing a new leaf, and it is spiking. And it has quite a few leaves, so it didn't lose its leaves, but they did get a little bit softer. Now here was a plant that struggled. If I can get right in here. Now here's where you see. This plant was full of scale. I had a terrible time. So it came with scale, and it suffered going into this pot. It just struggled and struggled. And you can see leaf very small, leaf small. Then finally another decent sized leaf, and now it's getting a new leaf. And in behind, a spike is coming. So there must be a few spikes coming here and there. We're doing pretty good. And this is my little corner where I have the ones that I've been most worried about. This one here was in the pot that it had ruffled leaves when I got it, and oh no, that was this one. It had ruffled, no, it was that one, sorry. It had ruffled leaves, splits in the leaves. It just wasn't happy in the pot I put it in, so I took it out because it looked like it was going to go die on me, but it's getting small leaves, but they're starting to come. This is the last one, firmer and harder now, so boy, that is where patience is needed. And I find most of them hold on to their leaves. If you find you have some, like I did with my other one, you can check your media and see if you're watering it too much or not enough. But there we go. So I should show you inside this fish, so I'll have to kind of get down. I don't know how. Hold on if I'm. There we go. Switch it off. Now the mist will slowly die down. Isn't he cute? I really like him. I've noticed they're on the internet and they sell for like $50 new, but they do have them. But we were lucky to get this shell with it. It's a nice shell. It's all joined. Oops. And this one here came with it for $5, and all those green beads came with it. Okay, the mist is clearing, so you can see the fogger mister down there. And so what I have done is I have it tilted a little to the back, and that way it's not shooting mist out of the mouth and off over everything. So it shoots to the back and then it rolls out here. So very happy with it. And when you refill your Mr. Foggers, make sure you use cold water. So I think that is everything. Oh, may we go over here and look at the cactus. It's in full bloom. This was out on the cold patio all summer, but it is in full bloom, but it hasn't quite opened. It will be pretty soon. So it's what we hide behind our TV, all our weird things. We're so crazy. So anyway, there's a shot outside, and that's it for today. Thanks for joining me, unless you're sticking around for coffee and chocolate. Bye now.